think the negative part is it's become, you saw that over the summer when the quarterback that was trying to go to Florida, his NIL deal fell through at the University of Florida, and he said, "I'm out," and went somewhere out west. So kids are making purely financial decisions, which, on one hand, a lot of them come from poverty, so they're going to take the paycheck, and I don't blame them. I think it just affects maybe their play going forward. But if you cash that check and you got a couple million when you're young at 18 and you don't pan out to be an NFL star or player, who cares? You got your millions of dollars and some more than I got.
Yeah, good for the kid, bad for the game, maybe.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I think. That's a good way to summarize that.
I agree.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, non-listener.
Yeah, good question. Good question. Yeah, too busy to listen. Last one from me. Yeah, Ryan Kayak guy. I don't have time to listen to y'all.
Come on, Granddad.
All right, last question from me before we move on to some other questions. This one comes from Instagram user CNN, computer nerd Nick. Let's just call that man what he is. It's computer nerd Nick.
I didn't know where we were going with that.
Another NJB1011 on Instagram. Y'all know him as CNN or computer nerd Nick. This seems like a perfect question for Scott Bobby. Scott Bobby, top or under? Talking about toilet paper placement when you put it on the roll in the bathroom. You have your toilet paper roll over or underneath?
Or as some people call it, the mullet or the afro.
There you go. I guess so. You a mullet or an afro?
I got a lot of
I'll take
on this.
neither and go for a bidet.
Oh, big money time at the Pottery Barn.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Has a golden bidet.
I don't have one yet, but I did try.
Okay, before
that one time that'll get you.
Until you get your bidet, you're out of toilet paper. You're putting the roll on there. Do you pay attention to how you put it on there or no?
I used to, but the house we moved into now, the
castle.
The toilet paper holders are vertical. So
whoa.
That's too rich for our listeners.
So they're like
like a sideways,
No, it's like they sit up,
Oh, okay, all right.
I don't really like it, but I'm meaning to ask Amanda how she thinks about it.
That's a good pillow talk tonight. how she likes the toilet paper situation.
He's a
but
smart man,
I would prefer a bidet over toilet paper.
Let's stay on this subject for a second.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then I'll answer it. Just so the listeners are clear, because it's kind of an inside thing. Want to make sure they're aware, because we don't hide anything. We went to the great city of Milwaukee with PackMan as our tour guide. We've mentioned before in another episode. And Scott Bobby and the little Scott Bobbies and Amanda were there. And the house that we stayed in had a bidet, and we didn't see Scott Bobby for a long time.
I didn't know that. Was that an Airbnb? Or?
It was an Airbnb.
With a bidet?
With a bidet.
Go ahead and give the review.
Highfalutin folks here.
It's a modern one that you can buy off of Amazon, and you attach it to the toilet, so you don't have to have the European style separate bidet.
He did tell me all this.
Yeah. No, they're very nice.
Is that on the Christmas list?
I might just order it myself.
That was me.
Second sheriff interruption on the phone. Appreciate that.
Put that on mute here. Yeah, the big one of Big Brain's coworkers has one too. Swears by it.
I intentionally would go to that bathroom versus the other ones. So.
And be gone for a while. No, I'm not a big bidet guy, but I'm purely American. But I understand the physics of it.
Not a fan, personally.
I had my shout out to Nana. Had one in Jacksonville when I was growing up, and I think my mama Sleezy was too embarrassed to tell me what it did because I never knew. I just knew it squirted water up. That's all I did.
Could have been really clean.
I kind of wanted to play in it. I was not allowed to.
That sounds about right for you.
Are y'all over or under toilet paper? Y'all are getting way off.
I'm going with the afro and the extra tendon on mine. So over the top.
Over the top.
I like over the top.
I could care less, but I enjoy peace in my life. And the special agent has drilled into me. It is over the top. And if it's not,
she's right.
And if it's not, I hear about it. I have heard about it. I hadn't heard about it in a long time because I'm trained.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my answer. Over the top because I do the right thing.
That's right.
Okay.
I have caught myself changing the toilet paper roll when it hasn't been over the top. So apparently I'm OCD enough for it to be over the top.
Talk
Are you
loud.
changing it in like public restrooms?
Wherever I need a roll of toilet paper, I'll make sure it's
Actually,
over
it'll
the top. That's right.
It is your deal. That's interesting. All right.
If any of the listeners need their toilet paper changed, call
You know who to
Pack.
call.
Yeah,
hit us
DM
up.
Pack.
Hit us up on the gram.
There you go. All right, so I've got a couple questions. I'm gonna start with one.
Man, we got a lot of questions.
Hey, we got a lot of listeners out there. We've got
Yes.
dozens,
Miss a week. and
literal
there's
dozens. of
10
listeners.
questions.
And we appreciate everybody listening. All right, so this question, this comes from a friend of ours, special agent, back in her college days, and maintained very good friends. And I know her as well. She's a very nice lady. Megan Cochran. She said, "Do you have any game day superstitions?" She's referring specifically to the Georgia game. I'll read the rest of the comment. She didn't bake her game day brownies yesterday
Oh,
during the
Megan.
game. If this is Sunday, allegedly, for reasons we cannot confirm or deny if this is Sunday or not.
Yeah, upset.
But she didn't bake her game day brownies. And while UGA won, Brock Bowers got hurt, and obviously they didn't cover. Was it her fault, or was it the solar eclipse's fault?
She didn't have the brownies, but did she still have the THC that she would have put in the brownies?
Oh, did she give that to the players?
Yeah. That's going to depend.
She's a teacher of young minds, so we won't comment on that.
So she definitely had the THC.
Fact.
No particular superstitions for me, but
Scott Bobby?
No, because normally I'm working and
That's true.
Why do you sound angry about
I
that?
despise home games most of the time.
Well, this was an away game.
Yeah.
Or is it any game?
No, I don't really have any superstitious traditions on game days.
I've never had any traditions. I have friends that have pretty elaborate traditions as far as, they have to park same spot when they go to the games. They have to do the same meals, all that type of stuff. I don't have any game day superstitions. Megan, I think you can take the burden off of your shoulders because I don't think your brownies had anything to do with the ET extraterrestrial
That's it.
performance yesterday.
He might have needed one.
I think it's more of a security blanket that you think you cover all your
Yes,
bases, and you
absolutely.
didn't do anything wrong when you bake your brownies. So just go ahead and bake your brownies the Georgia Florida game in 2 weeks. So
Send
that
a
way
few
all
to
our
the
bases are
podcast.
covered.
Yeah, I think the synthetic turf might have had a little more to do with Brock Bowers than brownies or special brownies.
There you go.
But in either one,
Okay. Well, you're the only collegiate athlete here at the table. Did you have any game day superstitions?
I wear the same shirt if it's a Georgia game, but and
Okay.
I try big.
What if they
Brain
lose while you're wearing your
washes
shirt?
it?
What shirt is that?
They haven't. Knock on wood.
Man, what
they
a
got
problem.
they
It's
got
been
a
so
little
long
strings.
since
Yeah,
they lost.
right.
But
Do
we
you
all
wash it?
spoiled.
do you still wash it?
Big Brain washes it for me, much to her chagrin. I can't remember what
shirt
about.
it is. What
It's just
shirt
a
is it?
Georgia football shirt with a G kind of in the love handle area on the left side.
That's a weird placement.
It is.
That's why I like it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Megan, for
Reminding
the.
everyone there's a lot to hold here.
There you go. Appreciate that, Megan, for the question.
Yeah, thank you, Megan.
Send us out another one next week. I want to get to this was actually an early question, like after the third episode dropped,
This is a good one.
from Alexis McElhannon, animal lover,
Okay.
big Georgia fan. They go to every game. I think their goal, her and UGA Garrett, her husband, I think their goal is to go to every game this year, and I think they have matched that goal so far.
All right.
They want to know. She wants to know. The next full moon is the Georgia-Florida game in 2 weeks. She wants to know if anybody's astrological sign is Leo. If they have any full
That's
moon
it.
stories,
Leos.
and if we believe the moon affects people's behavior. I'm going to start on this one because
Come on,
I've
Sleezy.
hinted that I have a reaction. So I don't mind putting my business out there. I'm recently left Leo law enforcement.
No, he put it out there.
I did. I recently left, so I had 15 years in law enforcement. Have a lot of stories that just come up randomly that I think about. Drive by something, and I'll think about it. So can't think about anything that happened on a specific full moon. However, after each full moon, I worked overnights for several years, we would always comment or always realize it was a full moon and realize that's why we were so busy. My theory is it gives more light. And I haven't told anybody
I
this.
like it. This
I
is
thought
getting
about
conspiratorial.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought about starting tours of the underbelly of Athens because people don't realize how active it is at night. And
Like the British double-decker tour.
yeah, yes, going down Arch and Grissom,
That would be
going
amazing.
down Hawthorne Extension, because this criminal element wanders the streets at night, all night, and the full moon gives them extra light to see their nefarious ways, and so they just stay up longer. They don't go and hide because when it rains, they go in little crevices and all that. Shout out to Patricia Parks. She lives on a sewer grate at the corner of Arch and Grissom. And when
Shout her out.
Yeah, when a full moon
God.
comes, it doesn't let her sleep as much. So there's
She
more
bit
activity. God.
We're going way off the rails here. The operational security is
Patricia
gone.
bit you? When did she bite?
I believe I've heard the
she
story.
bit me along. I guess I got to tell it now.
You
so
got to.
me and sheshout out
The list-
Viking Chris.
Viking Chris.
We were riding together one time, and for whatever reason, we're getting out with her. Right? She's.
Let me pause you 1 second, just so everybody knows. You can imagine. Patricia Parks is the African American version of what's that creature's name on Lord of the Rings, Gollum or whatever his
Yeah,
name is.
Gollum.
Smeagol.
Gollum.
She is the
He's got
African
many
American
names.
version. No lie, I might go get a picture. I would like to have her on a show, but I don't want her to know where I live. She looks exactly like Smeagol, looking for the precious fentanyl stones. And anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
this
set the
is
stage.
pre-fentanyl. This is pre-fentanyl.
This is straight crack.
This is straight crack. Yeah.
We may not make it to your
Yeah,
episode,
I know.
Hunter.
Yeah, that's right.
Go ahead, Pack.
I'll try to make a long story short.
Give it to us.
So she is obviously pregnant when Viking Chris and I get out with her. So we're kind of having baby gloves with her, kid gloves, trying not to, be too rough or anything. And she's obviously pregnant. She is obviously also cracked out at the time, right?
That's an official term for under the influence.
Yes. So anyway, we're getting out with her. Viking Chris and I each get a hold of her, grab her, and next thing I hear is out of Viking Chris's mouth is, "Do not bite me. That is assault." So I die laughing. We're there playing tug of war with Patricia Parks.
These are two large men, by the way.
Yeah. And shout out to Ride Kayak Guy, who I later learned was parked down the street watching us laughing.
Granddaddy.
So, I'm laughing. I'm like, oh my gosh, Patricia Parks just tried to bite Viking Chris. That's hilarious. He does not like that. And as I'm laughing and thinking these thoughts, I feel the slimy gums and teeth sink into my skin on my forearm. And how I remember it is I let out a very manly command of stop, please. Very suave.
Oh, yeah.
Viking Chris tells the story that I let out a squeaky squeal. It said "ow" with a high-pitched voice.
The legs weren't quivering. Then.
No, the legs were not quivering that night. So anyway, that's a really stupid story, but it's a true story, and she is somehow still around,
I
alive
just
and
want to
kicking.
clarify that everything's been adjudicated
Yep,
with
there's
Miss
nothing
Parks.
active.
That's right.
Very nice
Nothing
lady.
active. This is several years ago.
Long time ago.
Last time I saw her, she was using a tree leaf to sweep her sewer grate. I'm not making that up. I'm not exaggerating. She lives on a sewer grate.
Any full moon stories, Scott?
But no, nothing full moon, by the way.
Can't
But
think
I
of
love
any
it.
off the top of my head right now.
So let me ask you, Scott Bobby. This is my user question, listener question of the week.
Okay.
You're a
User.
We'll call you a. Yeah, we'll call you a dog enthusiast.
Yeah, dog
Do
enthusiast.
the dogs act differently during a full moon?
Well, when your dog is perfect in every way.
I would say
It's a reflection on the owner or the
it is
Handler.
handler.
Oh, nice.
kind of like how you were referring to humans. There's more light.
Mhm.
I think that's corresponds with dogs as well.
Okay.
I know that it definitely helps out the sheriff's dog at night because he is afraid of the dark.
Oh, boy.
Oh, the sheriff is afraid of the sheriff or the dog.
Maybe both.
Both.
Ooh,
whenever I have to
Nefarious.
keep his dog,
Yeah.
he does not like being outside at night. He barks incessantly.
That's a reflection of the animal.
And we've learned the Amanda and I have learned that
Okay.
he is starts to howl as the sun goes down.
Ooh,
It's a precursor to the nighttime. So
Another good word right there. Precursor.
precursor. Do you find handling dogs or your children is easier?
well,
That was,
That's a good question.
yeah, the screens.
the screens. No, I would say they're both challenging.
Yeah.
Dogs are basically like, well, the dogs that we have are like having a 4-year-old that can kill someone, and I have a 4-year-old.
Who may be able to kill
Took the
He
words
does
out
like
of my mouth.
he does
Shout
like
out.
pants kids at school apparently. So we have to deal with that.
Hold on, your 4-year-old pants the kid?
Yeah, the first week we got a message that he had.
Was that a voice message or a text?
It was a dojo message.
Ooh,
Class
official.
Dojo. Shout
Class
out Class
Dojo,
Dojo.
Yeah.
She messaged Amanda and I and said that Luke was
Love it.
playing with a kid and he decided that he wanted to pull his pants down.
Shout out Luke.
Shout out.
Since
Can we-
Scott Bobby dropped his name.
Can we do like a listener? Because I want Scott Bobby to feel like part of like the listeners have his back. Can we do like send us in your, obviously keep it PG-13, but I think the listeners could send us in some really good children stories as far as nefarious activities.
They can to have it because
Have
I
his
was-
back, folks.
oh, I wasn't.
I got
joking.
plenty of stories.
Yeah, we've all had. Well, all of us here are fathers, although 3 of us cannot be future fathers.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Heavy shoulders over here.
yeah, we all have stories. Thank you for sharing that story about your.
Yeah,
4-year-old
Scott Bobby's
because,
transparent.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. No, we weren't giving him a hard time because his kid pants somebody. Although that's hilarious.
Yeah, we love Luke.
Yeah, then about 2 weeks later we got a message that he hit 2 kids in one day.
He's doubling down. He's doubling down, folks.
You don't have to tell these stories.
No, I mean it's
The hazy cannon
We
is
are-
kicking in.
no, it's definitely been a topic at the home a lot lately.
Yeah, I'm sure Amanda
Whether
was
our
pleased.
son is a bully or not. So
Yeah, it's
because he's like the total opposite of our oldest son.
yeah. Oh, sorry, that was my fault.
Oh,
Not
man.
the sheriff.
I was trying to check up on our questions. Yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing extensively there, Scott Bobby. We
Absolutely.
appreciate that. Moving on, I got another question from Big Game James.
Big game, James. Shout him out. Shout out.
He's been known to catch a fly ball with his forehead. That's softball.
Was it a full moon or not?
Might
Got that far.
have been.
Yeah,
He was
I-
seeing stars.
I had the same experience as you. It was busy, and then you looked up, and after the fact, you saw that there was more light.
Yes,
Just to close the book on that one.
yes, exactly. You noticed an uptick, to use a
That's the-
gambler word
Yes.
that he liked to use in his reports all the time. Uptick in activity on a full moon. So thank you, Alexis, for the question, and we got a good story out of PackMan, and
Well, I'm looking at
And,
some good
uh,
story.
now I've got my my business idea out there. Somebody's going to steal it. Doing tours of the underbelly of Athens in my
No.
double-decker bus. Anyways, Big Game James. We love Big Game James, listener. He wants to know if we're gonna have YouTube episodes, and Big Game James, I'm working on it.
Working
This
on
is
it,
a
working
work in
hard.
progress. When we started episode 1, or actually a couple weeks before episode 1, I didn't know how to plug a microphone into anything. When I ordered this equipment, just to let the listeners in on the struggle, because it's real. When I got the equipment, I had to call the company on how to turn the microphone on. True story. True story.
Well, you are the brains of this operation, so we
So,
got to give you credit.
We've come a long ways. We are working. Maybe this episode, I don't know. We're working on getting a YouTube episode for you YouTube fans out
Might
there.
help if we looked at the camera.
That's right.
Hey,
Big
little
game, James.
Big Game James. So appreciate you checking up on us. We're going to try to expound upon our presence in the world with a little video, because everybody wants to see the magic. You know, they hear us, they want to see us.
The knees get weak.
Yeah. I don't know if everybody can handle that from Pat. To see
Yeah, I don't know.
all the tendons and the siren song.
That's right.
Just take it easy. All our female listeners, take it easy.
That's correct.
If we get on the YouTube.
I think that is the last question. Let me double check because we got Megan, thank you, and Alexis, thank you, and Big Game James, or as is otherwise known. I forgot the nickname.
Man, dead silence on a podcast. That's not a good.
No.
Booty meat.
Booty
That's
meat.
Booty
it.
meat.
Oh, man.
How
Booty
could I
meat.
forget?
My
Booty
own
meat.
nickname, and I can't even think of it.
Yeah, booty meat.
James is well endowed.
And I do want to say I appreciate all the questions. And last week, Spicy Linda enjoyed the shout out.
Shout her out again, Spicy Linda.
And another shout out I need to give is to the number one Juan. Number
Oh,
one Juan.
Future guest, hopefully.
That was the condition of the shout out. He would not consider it until I gave him a shout out, and he just got his picture taken with Bijan Robinson.
All right.
Man.
Little selfie,
Way to
he
go,
put little
Juan.
stars behind it. He was starstruck, somebody
Yeah, I
said.
guess so.
Did he come to the school? Did Bijan come to the school?
I don't know if he works at a school.
His
but,
mother calls him Bijan, but he calls himself Bijan.
Okay.
When I was
Inside
hanging out
information.
when I was hanging out in Andy's room for their game in London, the mother we couldn't figure out, or Dan Orlovsky shout out, or whoever could not figure out if he was Bijan or Bajan. So
Okay. The sheriff has a man crush on Motor City Dan.
yeah, this is a different Dan.
Oh, my
You're
bad.
thinking of Dan
Orlovsky.
Campbell.
Sorry.
Dan-
Yes.
I
I heard Dan.
like
and,
Orlovsky too, but
yeah, Orlovsky.
I only remember him because remember they had him. It was almost like him and a cross with Lance Bass when he was on Toy Story. Somehow he ended up with blonde hair.
Okay.
To remind the listeners.
Sorry for that laugh in the mic. Caught me off guard. My fault on the wrong Dan.
That's all
But
right.
you do have a love affection for Motor City Dan.
I got a huge love affection. I don't. They were winning.
They were. So I had just a quick, back to the sports part. I had a quick theory on betting the underdogs in the NFL that got completely blown apart today. So do not ever ask me for advice at the sports book because I told you to take Georgia and the points. I was vetting a underdog theory at the NFL. Completely terrible. So don't. I barely have enough money to keep this podcast going another
Sleazy's
week.
got to give himself a little more credit.
Yeah.
I was an intermediary for you, and you came very close.
He did. I told everybody I put a parlay
I heard
down
it.
through the sheriff, and I appreciate that. Scott Bobby, I have a question for you while you're here.
Okay.
Is there a formula that we can use when we input the salaries of people and see if it equals into you have too much money to ask your friends to help you move?
Oh, you snuck that in. Yeah, that was sneaky.
Are you referring to the move that you helped me with?
The
I
demand,
am.
the demand move.
Which I would help you at any moment. I just wanted to know if there's a formula now that we're in our late 30s. Some of us about to tip the scale onto the other side, into the 40s. Talking about myself here in a couple months. But I just wanted to know as we get older because I was reminiscing about college days, moving all my friends around from various, holes that they lived in, seemingly every semester. Again, not complaining, just saying.
Sounds a little like you're complaining. No, I appreciate everyone coming to help me move. It was not something I wanted to do, especially.
Yeah.
It was more of a demanda.
Whoa, putting it on her shoulder.
Okay.
I'm probably going to catch a lot
Okay.
when
I
this
think-
gets put
Demanda,
on
you heard it here
Spotify.
first. Your fault.
First of all, I think using the name Demanda is going to get you in hot water because I got an earful about that.
That's about the fourth reference from him too.
It is. And we'll just go ahead.
I like it.
Since we're on the train, did she ride her broom here?
She did.
No.
I can't protect you.
Me and the boys rode on the back with her.
Can't protect him. Yeah,
She insisted on coming tonight for.
She's her and the special agent holding it down.
her ear is probably up against the door right now.
God bless you.
Scott Bobby's.
It's going to be a dangerous time.
Man.
We're still moving technically. A week later, we've been over at the old house.
Yeah.
All weekend.
I've offered
Clean.
about
So-
16 times, and he shot me down every time because
Conveniently.
he wants to lord that over my head.
That
How
you
dare the Leos have a meeting
Yeah, well, me and PackMan picked
I-
up your
on the
slack.
other side
I
of the
spent
country.
enough time with you last week in the car, Craig.
That's true.
I don't need.
We do need to talk about the
you-
dog of many names. Let's not forget that.
Actually, I'm glad you reminded me. That's a good story there, Sheriff. I don't think PackMan's heard it. It's a good story.
All back.
So we'll just set the stage. Scott Bobby and the Sheriff went on a 10-hour road trip?
19-hour.
Yeah, with Nicholas.
Jesus. 19-hour day. To go look at dogs.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, we need the boss to tell the story.
There's nothing much to it, Craig. We just no, we had to go up to North Carolina and
persnickety today.
look at a dog or dogs. There was one in particular we wanted to specifically take a look at that we found out he had 3 different names at one point. His first was Rex. That's what he came over from Europe had.
Okay. Well, identity crisis.
And then the kennel decided they wanted to change his name to Willie.
I loved it.
And then when he was purchased by another agency, they purchased him and another dog, and the other dog's name was Harry. So
Harry
as does
Willie.
most agencies, when they make a social media post, they like to brag about their dogs and what their names are, and they said, "Meet Harry Willie," and so they quickly changed the dog to Doug. Which
Oh my God!
Like, a reminder, Pack has not heard the story offline.
So I kind of wanted to keep the dog Doug, but
100%.
the guy that's getting the dog,
High maintenance.
he wanted to change the dog's name to another name, so the dog has 4 names now, and so that whatever it's his dog, we didn't have that opportunity.
4 names for a dog.
Anyone
Do you
else?
think your 4-year-old human child could deal with 4 name changes?
We do have multiple names that we give him throughout the time, kind of like
Well,
nicknames.
nicknames,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
that's fair.
okay.
But I don't know.
It's
I mean,
4
I
official names
think he'll be fine.
Well, best of luck to Doug, the dog.
and the high maintenance handler.
Yeah.
Good one.
That's my words, not Scott Bobby's. That's mine.
Everyone,
Make that clear. That's my words.
all of our listeners know what my favorite name was, and that would have been Harry Willie.
Like a baby bird in a nest.
Yeah, there you go, the Sheriff. There you are.
You have been captured by Harry Willie. The puns are endless.
They are. I can see why the name change came.
Yeah, shout out Oregon.
Shout out Oregon, apparently. Scott Bobby, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fun.
Coming on the
Absolutely.
show. Man, an hour flies by, right?
It does when Craig's talking.
I didn't even talk that much. I'm trying to just get back in the good graces of Pack and Sleezy.
Do you feel that the Sheriff is always talking?
He does.
Okay.
Except for when on that ride back he slept for
Oh, I wanted to ask you.
very little, but he did sleep.
Did your foot get heavy on the way back from the trip?
It was on the way up there.
On the way up there?
In the darkness of the
Yes.
early morning hours.
Yeah, the kind South Carolina State Patrol was
Oh, you got pulled over, huh?
nice enough to.
Huh.
He also almost drove us into the tree
No,
on the shoulder of the road. Oh,
I
man,
was
it looked like
following the law.
Dukes of Hazzard.
I think that brought up another topic conversation. We'll do this for a few minutes. The listeners love the extra minutes.
Yes. They want the stories now.
They wanted to know if you get pulled over by a Leo, as some people call it, do you turn your interior lights on if it's dark? Are you supposed to?
I think that's common courtesy. Craig, or the sheriff, on the other hand, was
Just put
completely
it out there.
confused why
I
I
was
did that.
bamboozled. I said, why you turn the lights on?
I may have been pulled over a time or two in the darkness, and I always put on the interior lights because why not? You can see everything.
Yeah.
PackMan quiet over there.
I'm just trying to survive if those blue lights take me. I'm just trying to survive.
Okay.
Hey, well, y'all know how it is.
That's a good.
Wink.
That's a good segue.
I'm just trying to survive.
When you started driving, did any of the parents, either male or female parent, did they have the talk with you about if and when you get pulled over?
No, you mean like
What to
as
do
a
and-
as a young black man, like do this to them?
Or
No,
any-
I never had a talk
Or any man
With
that's
an
at the
extra
table.
tendon.
with a.
Yeah. You certainly could outrun them with all the tendons.
Should have ended a couple minutes
Yeah,
ago.
I was
that's
more talking
that's what
about-
you get.
Any human that's learning how to drive, do your parents give you a talk about what to do and what not to do?
No, mine didn't.
Yeah, I did
And
not.
now that you mention it, I have a 15-year-old who has a learner's license, and I hadn't even thought about, because I'm just worried about her keeping it between the lines.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about her getting pulled over. That's actually a good point. Everybody listen, I think you should have a conversation with your young drivers on what the proper, and some people may not even know, so tell them what they should do, Sheriff. You've been
My dad had the talk,
okay, what do you
but
tell
he
you?
was also a Leo.
Well, tell them. Tell everybody what they should do. Because
Well, I
think
didn't know
that's
about
actually-
the interior lights.
I don't think that's a must. I think when it's dark, it just helps everybody kind of calm down. And you never know. I'm gonna go ahead and say it because I
Say
can.
it.
Because I can. In the world that we live in today, they're hiring 19-year-old Leos. So you never know who that person is that's pulling you over. Not that they don't have any ill intentions. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But they are hiring 19-year-olds who were in high school the year before that they pull you over. So anything that you can do to let them know that you're cooperative
Yes.
is the point. That you're
Uh-huh.
cooperative is something that you can do to just make the situation go as smooth as possible. Because, like I said, nobody has any ill intentions. However, unfortunately, on the other side, there have been a lot of people over the years that have had ill intentions
Yes.
for the Leo that was doing it. So that's why there is a level of uncertainty when that person does approach you.
Mhm.
For those that aren't familiar with that, that's why there's a level of a lot of people in my personal life who have asked me about encounters with Leos. Their complaint is the kind of standoffish, the treating them as if they're a danger, and unfortunately, they only have one interaction every couple of years. Most people, and usually involves some traffic infraction, whereas the Leo has had training and seen friends and had situations where they've seen things being amped up automatically, life and death situations, and so unfortunately, you have to be prepared for that until you diffuse the situation. The interior light that Scott Bobby turned on is just a step you can take to get that process going. That's it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Obviously, it only takes one bad experience for the citizen, and then, like you said, you don't know who you're stopping. Obviously, darkness was a situation in this situation. But yeah, I think Scott Bobby was trying to pull over as expedient as possible, which I think could show that you're being compliant.
Yep.
My dad's former best friend would take the keys out of the car and put them on the hood. I think that's a little much,
That
but
is.
again, anything that you would think is going to be compliant, hopefully would be perceived by the Leo that you're trying to be compliant, because situations that escalate, to your point, no interior lights are coming on and nobody's
Yeah.
pulling over, and it's kind of undeniable that they're being non-compliant. If that makes sense.
We were in a minivan, so
We were in a minivan with a gentleman sleeping in the third row.
The only piece of
future
advice
listener.
I could think to give is, do not bite them on the yard.
Do not pull a Miss Parks.
So I'll give you information on when I'm starting the tours.
Yes, the double-decker buses on Arch and
on
Gresham.
full moon nights in Athens. We'll go ahead and wind this down. I do appreciate Scott Bobby. I really do appreciate you coming on.
absolutely.
Yes.
I think you did a great job. I think you accomplished the goal.
Yeah, he got the Leo
Getting out.
chatter out there and the stories going.
Yeah,
Shout out to Michelle and the Middlers who were all wanting some Leo stories.
Tell them all to download individually.
Yeah,
That's
Scott
right.
Bobby, Scott Bobby got the stories going, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, and just want to say I had a great weekend up in the mountains with the PackMans,
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Dakalala Day,
Beautiful
and the
Pac-Man.
little Pack people. Had a great time. Did some sampling of some grape juice yesterday.
Grape juice, some meads too.
Oh,
So
man.
I think I was the only one that had the mead.
Scott Bobby, you're a fan of meads.
I do like mead. I wanted to make my own mead at one point.
Man, how did this not do? Oh,
We're gonna
man.
add another
Have you
hour.
tried?
Yeah.
Have you tried it? Have you tried making your own mead yet? How did it turn out?
You have to let it sit and age for like a long time.
He was
Like
also
up
wearing,
for like
Got too
up-
impatient. You
up for
just
like
took
a
it
year,
down. You
for like a year.
he was wearing a Game
man.
of Thrones costume.
Takes a
while
lot
he was doing
a lot of honey.
Yeah.
it. It was
So how did
it was some LARPing.
The LARPing.